She was the first American woman in space.
The youngest American astronaut in space.
And NASA's first female capsule communicator.
Who was she? Find out next on Sarah's Wiki Corner podcast.
It is time for Sarah's Wiki Corner. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
Your Wiki Corner today brought to you by Nibelek Foods in the Genesee Valley Regional Market. What are we learning about today on your Wiki Corner?
Well, it is Throwback Thursday today, and our year is 1983.
Yes.
And that is the year that Sally Ride became the very first American woman to fly in space.
There she went.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, she was the third woman overall to fly in space.
Okay.
There were two cosmonauts from Russia.
Those are Russian astronauts.
Yes, they had been in space previously. But she was also the youngest American astronaut to have flown in space.
Okay.
Having done so...
The youngest American astronaut?
Yeah. To have flown in space at the age of 32.
A kid?
Yeah,
32,
baby.
Wow.
Yeah. So in January of 1977, Ride saw an article on the front page of the Stanford Daily that told how NASA was recruiting a new group of astronauts for the space shuttle program and wanted specifically to recruit women. No women had previously been NASA astronauts, although the Soviet Union's cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova had flown in space in 1963.
That just rolls right off your tongue. What are you, like...
No, it's like I read this once before or something.
What was your name?
Valentina Tereshkova.
Tereshkova.
Yeah. So Rides was one of 8,079 applications that NASA received. She then became one of 208 finalists. So she had to beat out a lot of people to become an astronaut.
Sure.
She was selected as a mission specialist astronaut with NASA Astronaut Group 8, the first class of astronauts to include women. After completing her training in 1979, she served as the first female capsule communicator, so the voice talking to the astronauts from the ground up in space, for the second and third space shuttle flights. And she also helped develop the space shuttle's robotic arm.
Oh, did she really?
She did.
Well, that's key.
Now, as the first American woman to fly in space, Ride was subjected to a lot of media attention. There were over 500 requests for private interviews, all of which she declined. Instead, NASA hosted the usual pre-launch press conference on May 24th, 1983, and Ride was asked some pretty ridiculous questions, like, will the flight affect your reproductive organs?
Oh, okay.
And do you weep when things go wrong on the job? She insisted that she saw herself in only one way, and that was as an astronaut.
Do you weep?
Can you imagine getting asked those questions?
No.
I mean, come on. NASA was still adjusting two female astronauts, and engineers had even asked Ride to assist them in developing a space makeup kit, which they assumed would be something a woman would want on board, because you got to make sure you look good when you're floating around there up in space on this space.
You don't know who you're going to meet up there.
I guess.
It's like you go to the store, right? I mean, you never know who you're going to bump into up in space.
I suppose.
Maybe a nice cosmonaut.
Yeah.
You don't know.
So the Space Shuttle Challenger lifted off from the Kennedy Space Center on June 18th, 1983, and many of the people attending the launch wore T-shirts bearing the words "Ride, Sally, Ride," of course, lyrics from the song Mustang Sally.
Sure.
The purpose of the mission was to deploy two communications satellites, and both were deployed during the first 2 days of the mission. The mission also carried the very first shuttle pallet satellite, which carried 10 experiments to study formation of metal alloys in microgravity.
Whoa.
Wow. Big stuff.
Wish I'd been on that flight.
And part of Ride's job was to operate the robot arm that she helped develop to deploy and later retrieve the shuttle pallet satellite, which was brought back to Earth. And the mission lasted a total of 6 days, 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 59 seconds.
Wow.
Now, when she got back down to Earth, she was a celebrity, along with her crewmates, and they spent the next few months after her flight on tour. She met with the governor of California and the mayor of New York. She testified before the Congressional Space Caucus on the efficacy of the robot arm and addressed the National Press Club. And then the crew even presented President Ronald Reagan with some jelly beans that had been flown on the flight.
He loved the jelly beans.
He did.
Yeah.
Space jelly beans he got.
Delish.
Yeah.
Delish.
Her second space flight mission was in 1984, also on board the Challenger. So she spent a total of more than 343 hours in space before leaving NASA in 1987. Ride worked for 2 years at Stanford University's Center for International Security and Arms Control and then at the University of California, San Diego. She served on the committees that investigated the loss of Challenger and Columbia, the only person to participate in both. She died of pancreatic cancer in 2012, and after her death, she received the nation's highest civilian honor when President Obama honored her posthumously with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which he presented to her partner, Tam O'Shaughnessy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what a life.
Yeah.
How old was she when she passed away then?
I think she was like 61.
61, wow,
Yeah,
young.
she's young.
Okay. All right, what a life. You picked out a record to go along with the Sally Ride, did you, Sarah?
Well, yeah, so I thought we got to play Mustang Sally.
We have to.
By Wilson Pickett.
We have to, and we will. Sarah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mustang Sally. There we go, Mustang Sally. Good pick. Good pick, Sarah. Good pick. Wiki Corner brought to you by our friends at Niblack Foods in the Genesee Valley Regional Market. Sarah?
You know what's 2 weeks from today? Just crazy.
It is, Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. I know. I can't believe it's already 2 weeks away. But Niblack's has everything you need for Thanksgiving dinner and dessert. They've got all the spices and seasonings you could possibly need for your turkey, for your potatoes. Bob's Potato Magic would be great in your mashed potatoes this year. The stuffing, dessert, anything you could possibly need for your Thanksgiving dinner, they will help you out.
Yeah, all kinds of pie fillings and all kinds of whatever you're making to go along with your. It's you know what I think has it become hot lately? People preparing turkeys differently than just the standard turkey way.
Yeah,
I feel like I see people on social media posting about it. This year I'm making my turkey in a garbage can, or this time I'm doing it in the microwave, or it's different things.
Yeah.
Well, be creative. Go find something different. Go to Niblack Foods in the Genesee Valley Regional Market. They'll help you out with that. Hey, Sarah, did you know that today is National Pickle Day?
It is National Pickle Day.
So you weren't aware?
I was not aware. Wait, remember we used to keep pickles here. Remember for a time we kept pickles here in the fridge?
We did go through a pickle phase.
We haven't had pickles here in a long time.
Poll question for today.
Okay.
Do you ever drink the pickle juice straight from the jar?
No, I don't.
26% say they've done it.
Well, so pickle juice is very good for like long distance runners. I found this out.
Oh.
Yes, very good for
You're running a
cramping
marathon
and stuff. If you're running a marathon. So like my husband, if he's running like a marathon or a half marathon, he'll bring pickle juice with him. Like he'll have pickle juice with him.
That is.
Yeah. I'm
looking to see if it mentions it. Yes, a good source of electrolytes after a hard workout, and it's tasty. It is salty, though. Yeah. It is salty. So some people say here, another says they don't have a problem with the jar part. They've drank olive juice straight from the jar.
Don't they make pickle juice, like pickle martinis
They
with
do make
pickle juice?
Yeah. I've never had one.
I don't know about that.
I've been trying to, I started out on a self-betterment campaign a few years ago to try to like pickles because I didn't like pickles. And I do like pickles now.
Well, remember the ones we had here that were like real spicy?
I do.
Those are really good.
Those were good. We should definitely.
We should get some more of those.
Should bring those
back. I forgot we used to have those. I like those. Those are a good snack.
I'm glad it was National Pickle Day. We could talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, stand by. Here we go. Going back. Legends 1027, the biggest hits in the history of the world. Wilson Pickett, Mustang Sally. Sarah, do you remind us, why did we just play that record?
Well, because we were talking about Sally Ride.
Yeah.
Yes.
We sure were. Let's recap 3 things we must take away from today's Wiki Corner. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
All right. Sally Ride was the first American female to fly in space.
Not only that, she was also the youngest American astronaut in space.
And she spent a total of over 343 hours in space.
My goodness me. That's a lot of time. Not as long as the people who are stuck up in space right now, by the way. Those people, did you hear about that? Their faces, their faces are starting to get sunken in.
No, why? Because of the gravity?
It has to do with, no, I don't think it's gravity. I think it has to do with the number of calories that they're supposed to eat. So
like they're running out of food?
Well, not as they're running out of food. I don't know. People were becoming alarmed because they were posting photographs on social media from up in space, which is what you do when you have nothing but time on your hands.
Yeah, sure.
And the woman's face especially was really getting sunken in.
Like she was losing a lot of weight.
And they were saying that she's supposed to consume over 3,000 calories a day, which is more than double what she's supposed to consume when she's on Earth.
Okay.
But you would think they would have, but they didn't say they were running out of food. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
How long are they up there for?
There's more to that story. I think they're scheduled to come down in early 2025, maybe. I think they're riding on one of those SpaceX things. I think they're sending one of those up to get them. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the trouble.
Scary.
That's why, Sarah, I will never go into space.
Yeah, me too.
Too many complications.
Yep.
Folks want to learn more about Sally Ride. Where do they go? What do they do?
Well, you can go to my Wiki blog. If you go to
Sure.
legends1027.com on the homepage, there's a link that takes you to my blog where I post everything I talk about every day.
You can always watch this mess unfold, as some people are doing right now on Facebook. Facebook Live every afternoon at 4:10. And we archive all of this up on YouTube, where you can search Sarah's Wiki Corner for the YouTube archive, made possible by Niblack Foods and the Genesee Valley Regional Market. Come back tomorrow, will you please?
Absolutely.
5th episode this week. Cannot wait for it. Tomorrow at 4:10. Looking forward to it. Have a great night.
You too.
Motels on the way. We've got Fleetwood Mac and a lot more on Legends 1027, playing the biggest hits in the history of the world.